Okay. So as mentioned, the main agenda for this session is to understand the fundamentals in VBA, the basics of VBA. And the next session, what we have on VBA 201, that will be more focused on the advanced skills required in the VBA. So starting with what's VBA? So VBA stands for Visual Basic for Applications. So it's a programming language within Microsoft, which you can use to automate tasks within all the Microsoft applications, whether it be Excel or PowerPoint or Outlook. Any process within Microsoft, if you want to automate, there is that's when we use VBA for it. So even if you want to like automate your PowerPoints, if you want like every time you create a PowerPoint and that gets automated every time, so you can use VBA within that also. So we learn today more about VBA and how can we do that. Starting with where do we use VBA? So it's used in multiple industries, for example, financing and accounting to automate the reporting. A lot of repetitive tasks which we do every day. Let's say copying a data from one Excel, pasting it to another, formatting it, sorting it. If you do the same process every day, the best way is to use VBA and automate that task. So financing and accounting, that's where we use it. Supply chain management, healthcare, as we use generally in healthcare, whether it be data cleaning or any modeling purposes. The HR team also uses a lot of VBA to generate documents. For example, if there are certain mails which every uh, team has to send at a certain time, so that's when they use VBA. One example is, for example, the bonuses which the company gives. Now, if you see, they send mails from their outlooks to everyone, right? So there's no one who's sending those mails one by one, and that's where we use VBA to send, personalized mails to everyone. And then there's sales and reporting. We can use PowerPoint creation using VBA. And then lastly, data analysis, what we will be using in VBA. Any questions still here? Anyone? Any questions? Cool. I will proceed to the next thing. Uh, like the one question which I generally get in most of the sessions is why VBA? By is Excel not sufficient to create those pharma forecasting models? Why do we have to use VBA? Of course, Excel is very much sufficient to create those pharma models, the forecast models. But when it comes to making the most efficient models, making the most automated models, that's where we use VBA. So majorly to automate things, a lot of times you want few things to be automated in Excel. Or if there are a lot of, there's a very complex logic. So when you write a very heavy Excel formula, the Excel gets very heavy. So the size increases and the chances that the Excel might get very slow. So in such cases, we use VBA to perform those activities. Then there is a user interaction, right? You want to get some inputs from the user. You can create forms in a VBA where the user can enter some of the inputs, and then based on that, we can customize the model in that. So there's a user interaction also in a VBA. There's a data processing we can use. Uh, and one of the points, very important point, is you can also integrate other platforms using VBA. For example, if you want to connect your Excel to a cloud-based solution, for example, let's say Amazon S3 or any other platform which you want to connect, or a Power BI dashboard. So that's where we use VBA to create a connection between that Excel and the other platform. Uh, the last one is the event handling. What's event handling? Any idea, anyone? Okay. So any uh, action in an Excel is called an event. So for example, if you go from a cell B1 to a cell B2, Excel considers that as an event. So a lot of times we want that whenever, let's say, user writes any particular thing in an Excel, I want, let's say, XYZ thing to happen. At that, and that generally cannot be catered using your normal Excel formula. So that's when we use VBA. So on a high level, to automate things, have a good user interaction, data processing, integrating it with other platforms, and managing event handling. These are the main reasons why we use VBA in general. Any questions still here, anyone?
Mayank,
Okay.
if they are here, so this
Mhm.
VPA is inbuilt in the system, or we need to activate it or download something
It's
to.
all inbuilt in your session. And that's what my next slides are going to be, that how do we open VBA?
Okay.
Okay. So how do we enable the VBA in our Excel? So there is a developer section in our all our Excels. Last session in our Excel session, we also I tried, like, whoever were there, like, I enabled them for them. Can you guys also check with your uh, Excel? In your Excel, do you have uh, a VBA, sorry, a developer tab, for example? Do you have like a developer uh, section here? Does everyone have like a developer add in here?
We added last time.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Rajdeep has it. Ganesh also has it. Anyone who does not have a VBA, a developer add in here? Okay. So Mehak does not have it. Mehak, do you want to share your screen, and so that we can do it step by step, and so that everyone who does not have it can get an idea how to enable it?
Yeah, sure. I hope it's visible.
Yeah, it's visible now. So the first step is to go to the file uh, section. So click on file, topmost left. Yeah. Now in file, go to options.
Uh,
Options at the bottom. Yeah. There you have customize ribbon.
okay.
In customize ribbon, on the right hand side, if you see the main tabs, below it you have a developer section which is unchecked. There's a
Okay.
developer written there.
Yeah, yeah, got it, got it.
Just check it and click on OK.
Okay.
And now you have developer ribbon.
Okay, got it.
Anyone else who does not have a developer add in there? Cool. So I'm assuming that everyone has that developer add-in. Let me share my screen again. Is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Cool. So again, the same way how just now was shown. You go to the file section, you go to options, you uncheck the developer, and the developer add-in comes in, right? Um, Now, in developer, if you go to the, let me share my full screen. In developer, if you see, there are four sections to it. There is a code window, which has Visual Basics, macros, record macro. There is an add-in if you want to have like an external or insert any add-in. There are controls here. Generally, if you want to add a button in an Excel, so we use all these control options. And of course, there is some XML export import if you want to do. This is the fourth section. So these are some of the four uh, tabs within developer what we can use. So the first thing we'll be using is basically recording a macro. So let's say I have a country list here. I have five countries. Let's say China is written again. Now, let's say every day morning, I have to wake up and I have to copy this data, uh, create a new sheet, paste the data, and remove the duplicates in it. Sorry, remove the duplicates in it, and then transpose it and paste it here and delete this. And let's say add a border to it. Let's say this is my everyday task. I have to every day copy this data, create a new sheet, copy the data again, remove duplicates, and then transpose it and add borders to it every day. Uh, but let's say I want to simplify it. So what I'll do, I'll record a macro. What recording a macro does is, so every step what you are doing, Excel will record it. So in the back end, it will step by step record what steps are you following, and it will give you a code that, okay, for these steps, these are the code what you have to do. What I'll do here, I'll click on record macro. So all of you can do it parallelly as well. So go to developer, click on record macro. Once you click on record macro, this is uh, the form which you get. In the form, just write test macro or anything which you want, and I click on OK. Sorry, there has to be an underscore after name, right? And now, if you see, the recording is in progress, like because now I'm getting a stop recording option, which means the recording is in progress. So what I'll do, I'll copy all the data, I'll add a sheet, I'll paste all the data, I'll remove the duplicates, and I'll paste it somewhere as a transpose, and I'll add the borders, I'll remove this. And then I'll go and do the developer tab, and I click stop recording. Clear? Any questions still here? So I did the stop recording, but where is the code now? For that, you have to go to the developer section and click on Visual Basic. Visual Basic is the section where you can see all the codes and write all the codes. The one option is you go to the developer section, click on Visual Basics, or you can also click on Alt F11 to directly jump to the Visual Basic. So once you click here, uh, yeah. So do you see I recorded it as test macro, right? So it basically wrote everything what I was doing there. So what I did, I selected B7, then I copied the data, then I added a new sheet, it pasted the data, it removed duplicates, uh, right? Then again copied it, I pasted as special in the transpose form. If you see here, transpose equals to true. Then I added the borders to it, and I removed the other things to it. And then it finally ends the code. So this is the general code, but this is how, when you record a macro or you record your steps, this is how Excel records your steps in the backend and creates a module here. Any questions, any doubts still here?
No, Meg.
Okay. So can you guys try recording a macro right now? So like, again, a simple, create a small country list, uh, copy it, paste it somewhere, remove duplicates or any other actions which you want to do. And then let's see if you are able to have this code in the backend. Just take a couple of minutes and let me know if anyone of you are facing any challenge. Is everyone able to record a macro? Okay. Other members, Ankita, Ganesh, Mehak, Harsh.
Yeah,
Cool. So now how do we run those macros again? So how it works is you go to the code again. Let's say you want to do it again tomorrow. So you go to the code again. You go to the code, and at the top, if you see, there is a run button here. So once you click on the run button, it will automatically run the code again. So if you see here, there was no sheet 4 before, but now it created sheet 4 with all these, like again, the same action was performed. Let's say from, if I change Pakistan to USA and India to, let's say, uh, Indonesia. And now if I, let's say, perform the same code again. So again, if you see sheet 5 was created, again, Indonesia, US, Sri Lanka, China, Japan, these things are, uh, again, same action, same. Any questions here? Anyone? Cool. So whenever you want to perform very basic actions like this, how I had to do, like copy the data, paste it, remove duplicates, transpose it. That's when you record macros. Uh, but Excel writes these codes when you record a macro. These codes are not the most efficient codes, uh, because if you see, the ranges here are very hard coded, like C7 to C12, select C7. So if you want to modify these macros later, of course, you have to go to the back end and update these cells. Not the best practice to do it, right? So these codes, which are generated when you record a macro, are very um, limited to that particular action only. If you want to expand it to other actions as well, so you have to, write a code which is neutral and it can be used at other places also. Anyways, that's how you record a macro. Uh, Now, how do you run a macro from there? So basically, in the developer tab, you also have macros list. So once you click on macros, there's a test macro if you see here. If I just click on run, I can again run it. So I don't have to go to the code again. I can just go to the developer, click on macros, and I'll get the list of all the macros which I have in my code. So I can just do it. Clear? Any questions, anyone? Okay. The next thing is the visual editor in Basic. Sorry. Yeah. So this is how, like just now what I showed you is a normal editor in like the VBA editor looks like. So on the left hand side is the project window, where you can basically see all the sheets which you have in your Excels, all the codes which you have written. There is a properties window below it, which in which you can edit the name of the sheets. If you want to hide sheets, make it visible and visible, you can do that here. Here, this is the code window where you actually write all the codes in VBA. There is an immediate window. If let's say if you want to check any quick code, if you want to see where the error happened, so you can use this immediate window. But this immediate window code will not flow into your main code window. This is just like a side check which you do to check few things. And there is a watch window here. Uh, if you want to, see the status of your variables or anything, any integers which you have defined, that can be done here. Again, at the top, there is a menu bar here, which you can select, and then there is a toolbar below this to access it, right? Similar to what I have here. Okay. Again, you can go to edit and customize. So you can go to view and customize how and where you want these windows to be based on your preferences. Any questions? Any doubts? Anyone? Cool. Uh, So we'll go to the next sections, which is the variables in VBA. When, so what are the variables in VBA which you can define? So does anyone has any coding background here? Okay, Vidya says no. Okay. So generally, when you write any codes, you define variables. Defining variable as in, let's say, what do I want to enter the user? Like what I'm allowing the user to enter. Let's say if I'm allowing the user to enter a name, which means it will have alphabets, right? If I'm asking the user enter your age, so it will be an integer, right? So every assumption or every input the user enters, that has to be stored somewhere. And how do we store it? Store it in VBA. So there are these data types available, and there is a storage size and there is a range for that. So there's an option to store booleans, which is like 2 bytes, but that gives you, in that the user can only enter true or false. Then there is a byte, which is like 1 byte. Then there's a collection. There's a date option in which the user can enter the dates from January to December any year. Then we can also store in a variable called decimal. If you want to also, allow the user to enter decimals. Then there is double, there is integer, and there's long integer. So integer and long integer, the only difference is what's the size of the integer the user is going to enter based on that. Then we have variants. So integers, variant, sorry, these are some of the commonly used variables what we'll be using in the Excel. Cool. Okay. The next thing is very important thing, the buttons in developer. So currently in my Excel, if you see here, uh, every time I have to run this code, I have to go to developer. I have to click on macros and then either click on run here, right? For the code to perform, or I can go here and then click on run. The better way is that I go to this sheet here, go to the developer section. In the insert button, there are, if you see, there are two sections here: form controls, and there is an active X for controls. Form controls are simpler buttons, and active X controls are more complex and uh, have more functionality. Those buttons. So, for example, I click on button here and I create a button. They'll ask me which code do you want to assign. So I say assign it test macro. I click on OK, and I name the button country list. Now, every time I press this button, now I don't have to go to developer, uh, click on macro, or go to the code window. I can just click, what the country name is. Yeah. I can just click on this country button list, and every time it will do the same code, what it was doing there. So if you see here, they are creating new sheets, again, pasting the data. So now that code which I was running through, either going click on macro or going to the VBA code, is now being run through this button. So this is how it simplifies the process. Any questions still here? Anyone?
Meant in my Excel sheet, I can see only the form control option, but not the ActiveX.
Yeah, so ActiveX is something which is very recently introduced,
Okay.
and only if your Excel has the latest version that's there. But that's okay. Like most of the controls are there in form control.
Okay.
So, yeah. Any other question? Can you guys try creating this button and assigning that macro, which we just now did, to this button? Because this is very important. Like most of the buttons, what we'll be having, we'll have to assign the macro to it. Let me know once everyone is able to assign a macro to the. Ankita, Ganesh, Harsh, Mahek, Karthik, Vidya. Are you guys able to create that button and assign the? Does like one of you want to share your screen and we can see how it's going? Ankita, do you want to share your screen? Or anyone else?
Uh, Actually, I've
Hmm.
connected to phone and I'm doing parallel in my laptop. That is
Okay,
the problem of sharing this
no
one.
worries, no worries. Anyone else who would like to share your screen?
Ma'am, I was getting error of debugging. Debug.
So just show. You can share your screen.
Visible? I had prepared this one,
Mhm.
but
Okay. So one thing, please remember that whenever you're writing any VBA
yeah,
code,
this one.
yeah, yeah. So you can stop this code. This code will not work because now the problem here is your current workbook is XLXSX,
Hmm.
right? So VBA codes only work in VBA enabled workbooks. So we'll
Okay.
so if you could go back to your Excel, yeah, and if you click on files and click on save as,
Okay.
no, no, not PDF, save as. Yeah, in the Excel workbook where it says book one XLSX, no, no, at the top where it says book name and then, yeah, click there. Can you see a drop down? Yeah, click on Excel macro enabled workbook.
Okay.
And can you try doing now? Mm. You have to stop the code actually first. Can you go back to the code? Can you show me the code once?
Macros.
No, no. Just go to the code window which you were showing me right now.
Hmm.
Here, click on stop at the top. So there's a stop button at the top. Just click on that. Next to run, there's a stop. No, no. Yeah, if you see run it written at the top, there's tools, right? Tools at the top in the menu bar.
Yes.
Tools. There is debug run and then tools. Below tools, there is a stop button. If you see, right, more right.
I think my screen is blocked on that.
No, no. Do you see a blue button there? Like a stop button? One second. Or you can click on, there's a reset button there if you could see. Just,
Okay. Yes, yes. Reset, I guess.
yeah, click on reset.
Okay. Mm.
And also you have added stoppers here. So these red lines are called stoppers. Just click on those lines on the left side so that those stoppers go away. Or click, just write F9 there. Just click on F9 on those lines.
Mhm.
Click on, yeah. Now again, go back and try running the code.
is showing runtime error, end or debug.
Click on debug. Click on debug.
Then
Can you show me your Excel again? Okay. Can you put your button at the top? Can you keep the button at the top? Click. Yeah.
so should I move this?
Yeah. Click on escape once and then move it. Escape once and then now move it. No, move it somewhere bottom or below.
Okay.
Yeah. Now click it.
Mhm.
And now
No.
run that macro. Now run that macro. Again, you are in a stop mode. So there are two macros which I have recorded. Is it the first one or the second one? Try running the second one. First, reset it. So anytime the code stops, it goes in the break mode. So you have to go and reset it. No, no. Go to the code again. Click on reset. Yeah. Now and now try running the second code. Macro 2. In the Excel only.
Yeah, it created sheet 7.
Yeah.
Now, in the sheet 5 only, I will have to insert the
No,
form.
no. So where did you? It works in sheet 5, like the code works in sheet 5.
Hmm.
Okay, so go to insert. Click on the first button. Create that button.
For macro 2, no?
Yeah. Mhm.
Edit or no?
Okay. Okay. Click on OK.
Yeah, it is working.
Mhm.
It created sheet 8.
Yeah. Cool.
Now, yeah.
Any questions, anyone? Cool then. I'll share my screen. So in the developer, inserting a button is one of the options here, right? You can also insert a combo box, a checkbox, a spin button, anything like a button like a radio button here. So all these options are there which you can interact with. So there is a list of these buttons which are available. So there is a button which executes a macro. There's a check button for take untick. Right. There is an option button which we just now saw. There's a combo box. There's a list box. There's a scroll bar. There's a spinner, and there's a group box and label. So these are the buttons which you can have in developer. Again, this button, the general insert button, what we have used is one of the most common. The other one is called a combo box. What's a combo box? So this is a combo box in which the user can select from the drop down, which is the output. So how do we use this? So if you right click on this, there is a format control here. In the format control, it has two options, the input range and the outputs. In the input range, let's say I select these and they ask you where is the output here. So cell link is basically the output. So let's say you click here, click on OK. Now, if you click on the drop down, you will have the list of all those countries. And whenever you click on any country, this will show the number on which which has been selected. So let's say if I select Japan, it will show me 5. If I write Indonesia, it will show me 1. So basically, the output I can use in my code that if if let's say if I want to write if conditions, that if the selection is one, write this code for Indonesia. If the selection is two, write the code for USA. So all those if conditions can be used in this drop down. Any questions, anyone, on this developer uh, insert and combo
Can
box?
you show the combo one once more once, please?
Sure. What do you want to see there?
And just that the if one, like I just realized that I shot the combo box, and after that I just somehow the net was not working, so I missed that. Can you just show me once again how you did it?
Okay. So what I did was I went to the insert part. I clicked on insert and I created a combo box here. Now in the you click on right, you do a right click there, go to format control. In format control, you have an input range here, and this is send link. Send link is basically the output, where do you want to store the output. In the input range, let's say if I want to give a list of countries, and send link, let's say I want to give here. So now the user has the option to choose from the drop down, and whenever he click on
Yes,
the drop
yes, I
down,
understood.
yeah,
Yes.
clear,
It's completely clear.
yeah. And how do we use it? So for example, let's say I can show you one of the codes. Yeah. So if you see here, one of the codes which we wrote, uh, yeah. So if you see here, if country name is all, so basically in the selection here, right, the user has an option to either select all or have all the or any country which they want. And in the backend, you can write the code. For example, if the country name is all, then write this code. Else, write this code. So similarly, using these uh, control boxes, what I was showing, you can modify your codes and change it accordingly. Any questions? Any doubts?
No, Mayank, it's clear.
Cool. Uh, so these are the combo boxes. Very helpful. Try these using this. Uh, the last one is a message box. Uh, so message box is basically an option uh, that displays us any pop-up dialog box which we want to allow the user. Sorry. So let's say in the country list, every time the user creates this and this is done, I want a pop-up that the country list is updated. How do we do it? We go to the code where we have written that record macro code, and at the bottom just add one line there which says prompt. So I'll write it country list is updated. And there are other options also if you want to, what type of style do you want to use. So and you have this list of options here. So if you want okay only, if you want to write okay or cancel, like what do you want to give the option to user to? For example, I want okay only. I want the next thing is the title. So let's say if I write hello, and then I close it. Now, every time I will run this button, okay, 1 second. Yeah. So if you see, it says a message box which says country list is updated. So every time I click on country list, they create that sheet and they give me a pop-up which says country list is updated. Any questions still here? Anyone? Yeah. Now if you see, since I use the OK only, so it only has the OK, and I can also customize the titles of my message box. So I wrote hello there, so there's an hello option here. But similarly, if let's say if I want to do both, let's say not just OK only, if I want to also write OK or cancel for the user, uh, so let's say VBA, yes. Now, once the user clicks on the country list, they will have country list updated, yes or no. So again, there are subcodes which I can write that if the user clicks on yes, do this, and if it clicks on no, then do XYZ things. Clear? Any questions still here? Can you guys try writing these message boxes? These are important because a lot of times you want to show notifications or any error messages when you run a code. So can you guys quickly try it and then we can see? Is everyone able to get a message box?
Yeah.
Okay. Ankita, Ganesh, Harsh, Vidya, Samriti, Rajni. Cool. So the last thing we'll learn is how to write uh, codes within message boxes. So let's say this is a message box here. Uh, let's write a so dim variable. So you write dim. Let's say I want to define variable as define
Can you
reply.
Just
share the screen?
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought I was sharing. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm defining my variable. How do you define it? So you write dim. Let's say you want to define anything as int question. You write as integer. Right. Again, for now I want to define any reply. So dim reply as VBA message box result. Right. If I say what is reply, I've defined reply. So reply would be message box. Save changes. I'm asking the user, then I write VBA yes, no, right? And then a VBA question. And then I write confirm. So this would be the result of this. Let's say the user writes yes or no based on what the question is. So that would be saved in reply, right? So the next thing I can write a if condition that if reply is equal to VB yes, then again show a message box. Changes, let's say saved, or let's say else message box no changes saved, full stop, comma. And then you also end if, because there's an if which I started. So I write end if. Here, I'll remove this. Now, every time I'll run this section of the code, let's say country list.
After else, there will be equal to sign.
Sorry, where? No, there was an equal to sign by mistake. I've added here. So yeah. So now if you see the title says confirm, it says save changes or yes or no. So if I click on yes, it'll show me changes saved. Let's say if I do it again, and if I write no, so it'll say no changes saved. So like within these, so based on what the user selects, so let's say if the reply is yes, so then you can write the entire code here in this section, and then lastly show him or her changes saved, and else you can write the if the user says no, then do those XYZ, and then finally show a message box. So this is like a general small code which I showed for a message box. Any questions still here? There are a lot of other things which you can do actually using the VBA code. So for example, one second, yeah. So for example, like this is one of the VBA code where let's say, this is a like a global model which has like 10 countries within it. So all these countries are there. But let's say I want to create one other model only for that particular country. So I can select that country, click on configure. So what we'll do is it will write the codes, create a different model, altogether a different model, just for UK. Like so, from these global models, which has all the 10 countries, it will extract the assumptions for UK, create an Excel model, write all the formulas, and create a new Excel workbook for you. There's an import functionality which you can basically have where let's say there is a different Germany model where from which you want to import all the data from. So you select the country, you click on import. Once you click on the import, it allows you to select the uh, country, like the Excel model, which you once you click on that, so all the data from that particular Excel model, forecast model, is imported into this Excel sheet. So these are some of the quick things which you can do. Again, there are a lot of things which you'll be learning in the upcoming classes. So the main agenda for this was to give you a taste of what exactly VBA is, how does the record macro work, how do we configure buttons in a VBA, and these message boxes again. Any questions on these topics?
Uh, like I have a question. When you clicked on import, so there was this window opening from where
Yeah,
you can browse and you can fetch the data. So for that,
yeah,
you have to write a particular code, right? Like we did.
yeah.
Okay, okay, got it.
So if you see here, so in the import, I go to, so if you see, it says file path application, open file name, if file path false. So this is basically the code. If you see the prompt user to select country file, so which basically allows you, the user to select from anywhere in the system, and it accepts like what type of files you want to accept. So currently I have like only Excel files, .xls. And of course, I've put a star here, which means that it can be Excel SX or Excel SAM, even if it's binary or macro enabled. So this will accept the format. So this is that two-line code to allow the user to select it from their system.
Okay, okay. So basically, this is a language like from where we interact and we get the required, you know,
Exactly, exactly.
and from where we have to like learn these codes and all. Like obviously, we won't be using only the limited which we
Mhm.
have done a bit.
Of course, there's a lot of things available right now on uh, YouTube, or even the Microsoft official website recently has a lot of data for VBA, where you can learn, for example, defining the variables, or
Hmm.
assigning names to the variables, writing those loops. All these you can. Again, this will come only with like with more practice. You do this will
Yes.
automatically come.
Hmm.
Uh,
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
any questions, anyone? Cool. So this was all about the VBA 101. In VBA 201, we'll be learning how do we assign values to a variables, and also how do we write more if conditions, more loops within loops. How do we run for loops within VBA, and more applications of VBA in our next session. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day.
Same to you. Thank you.
Thank you.